How you doing, guys? This is Eric, rulthewasteland.com, secretoftheinternet.com. I already actually made this video one time, but I was covering the mic on this camera with my finger intermittently, which made for a pretty poor video because I couldn't hear what I was saying half the time, or it's very mumbled. But we're out here on another walk with Mongo. He likes kicking up some divots every once in a while. You're broken, Mongo? You get stuck doing that? Happy? Good kick. Let's go. So what I was going to talk about today is one easy thing that almost everyone can do, depending on where you live, but almost everyone has this available to them, this opportunity in some level. You know, maybe not as extensively as I do or other people who live in even more rural areas than me. I'm in a pretty suburban area, but Gainesville is very wooded. They call it the swamp for a reason. Lots of little patches of marshy woods. So this is a big, you know, it's just a retention area. And there's a couple of these pretty close. This is only about a quarter mile from where I live in the little neighborhood. But anyways, without rambling, what I was talking about today is wild edibles in your area. Learning about things that are in your area that you can eat in the event of some sort of natural disaster, disruption in the food supply, anything like that. Now, if there's something obvious like oranges, which are all over the place here in Florida, or different types of fruits or nuts, most people know about that stuff. But there's a lot of other, especially leafy greens, that people don't really know about. Like in this area, we have a lot of these, you know, bullbriars or greenbriars. I forget the exact name, but those are edible, and they're everywhere around here. I mean, if you look around at this, Mongo, you find some. Mongo prefers squirrels and dead snakes and things like that, but for those of us who are more omnivorous, if you look around here, most people don't even know that that's edible, and I could probably fill multiple garbage bags with those greenbriars or bullbriars in just an hour or so. Just walking around here with a pair of scissors or snips, just fill a whole entire garbage bag, and that could give you some very good nutrition. Not a whole lot of calories in any type of leafy green because our bodies don't really digest cellulose, but good roughage, good some vitamin D and other things like that, maybe some calcium. So when I talk a lot about storing cheap food supply and how calories is king, most people, or not most, but a lot of people freak out, say, oh, calories not the only thing. Here's some more right here. There's a lot of them around here. And they talk about how you can have nutritional deficiencies and stuff, which is true, but that takes a long time. And especially if you're supplementing your diet with random things here and there, like some dandelions or some of these bullbriars or anything like that, you're not gonna have any problems. And it takes a lot longer than people think to have issues. You have to have a very restricted diet to have certain types of vitamin deficiencies and things like that. So if you have rice, even if you're eating mostly rice all day, a few other canned goods, you just throw in a multivitamin or so occasional foraged greens like this, and for the most part, you're gonna be fine. It would take, at the very least, months and months and months before you'd start having any serious issues, and probably more like years. I remember a story, true story, about this girl who had some sort of eating disorder, and she was to some extent enabled by her parents until she was an adult. She continued it, I guess, or a teenager, but she would eat nothing but McDonald's chicken nuggets, like literally nothing else. That's all she ate. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, McDonald's chicken nuggets. And I mean, she had health issues for sure, but it took, I mean, she was a late teenager, early teens, and she'd been doing this for like 10 years or something before it became a serious health complication, before she collapsed or something, which is no good, obviously, that you don't want that. But we're talking about literally just one thing that she ate, and it took probably a decade. So you're talking about 6 months of a rice and beans diet. Maybe Mongo does like to do a little grazing. Your stomach bothering you, buddy? So a few months of a rice and beans diet is not gonna be a big deal, especially if you supplement with foraged greens, the occasional, you know, wild game, things like that. Not a big deal. But as I've mentioned in a video before about how hunting after shit hit the fan and things like that, you don't want to rely on foraged edibles as a significant or exclusive portion of your preparations. Some more. because it may not always be available. Like it may seem like there's a lot of stuff out here, but okay, I fill a couple garbage bags, what's that, a day or two of if I'm eating only that and you're not getting all the nutrition that you need. And then once everybody is out here with a gun shooting at all the squirrels, that may not last long. And you don't want to have to come out here and expose yourself if something's going crazy. Maybe the situation is more serious, zombie apocalypse, something like that. But at the very least, it never hurts you to actually know what's in your area, be able to identify it, things like that. So that's what you need to work on. Regardless of how it factors into your preparation plan, you need to be able to walk around in your local area and point out the things that at least are edible. And you know, you might live in a city, New York City or something like that. You're not going to have nearly as much of an opportunity for that. But most people have some things in their area. You know, there's a ditch with cattails in it or something like that. Why are you eating grass, Mongo? He's trying to keep with the theme of the video. Or, you know, if you're in just a regular neighborhood, maybe some dandelions in a yard or different types of cactuses somewhere if you're out west that are edible or have edible flowers and cactus fruits and things like that. Or you're just in a regular area where there's some woods nearby, parks and things like that, and there's different vines and leaves. And like I mentioned a few minutes ago, most people will know about fruits and nuts, or a lot more people will. So that stuff may get foraged a lot sooner in the event of some widespread disaster. But something like leafy greens and different types of vegetation or root crops and things like that, a lot fewer people are going to know about that stuff. So you have first dibs on a lot of that, and there's certainly usually a lot more of it too. Like these vines right there, that's all edible vines, the leaves anyway. But there's most things, or most areas have something like that you can find. So don't worry too much about an insane amount of variety or complexity in your stored diet, because it takes a long time for those nutritional deficiencies to show up. If you have even a remotely varied diet, even something like just rice, beans, and the occasional can of Spam or something, you're going to probably be fine. And it's not hard to throw in a multivitamin if you're really worried about it, or different cans of powdered mix, or some of those survival tabs, something like that are loaded with vitamins. Just a couple containers of those, and then you can be pretty sparse with your diet. Because, I mean, it's hard to imagine a situation, any kind of disaster scenario where there's no opportunity for supplementing your food supply at all. You know, like you can't go out and forage anything. There's nothing left in any stores or empty buildings, or there's no wild game or anything like that. So what you just want to do is just build up a supply of stored food so that you can have time to find out where these other things are. So that's why I always recommend something like, for me, a 6-month supply of food is my plan. And that could turn into a year easily if I add in all those other sources. And if it doesn't, at least I have that 6 months. But I'm kind of rambling. The main focus of this video is to find stop pulling my arm, buddy. He wants to keep going. Is to find the edible plants in your area. At least know the few obvious ones. Know what you need to do to process and eat them. And that can add a significant advantage to your disaster preparations. Right, Mongo? Alright guys, thanks for watching.